Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School. I remember what we're doing here. Where today we're taking on the forces of Karak Kadrin in their home, Karak, which is a dwarf word for like underground fortress. And I'm not super jazzed. I was feeling pretty upbeat about this last turn when this army only had 10 units in it, and then suddenly it jumped up by 19, or it jumped up by 9 units during the enemy turn sequence, which is a number that I would describe as extremely fucking suspicious. So now they have a 13 unit garrison plus a 19 unit backup army, plus an extra lord over here who is also mustering. And we definitely got to strike now. Like waiting is bad. Waiting is for sure only going to make the situation worse. We are not really gaining strength that they are, but also I hate it. But also this is very bad. So part of the problem is that while we have a greater overall number of units, we have 35 total units. A lot of our units are fucking garbage. Like, all of these goblins may as well not exist as far as like melee combat goes. They're just gonna get totally thrashed. Being able to win in a standing fight obviously is not the only thing that matters, and the dwarves do not have anything on the level of the lava spider. This is an extremely late game unit that we've been granted access to, and they're just not developed enough to field anything like it. That said, I think we do need to keep Ungrim off of it, because he'll absolutely shred it. In general, we have to keep it away from a lot of their slayers, because slayers have a considerable anti-large bonus. So that is going to limit its use somewhat, but it's still a cool monster. So here's what I'm thinking for this: we could attack the Karak itself. Sieging a city prevents armies inside the city from recruiting any further. Like all the things that are trapped inside the city just starve slowly over the course of the siege. But it wouldn't stop Glum Ironforge from recruiting, and Ungrim's army is basically finished now. He doesn't need to recruit anymore. I think what I want to do here is attack Glum Ironforge. If Ungrim wants to defend him, if they want to take that and make it the big fight, they will be able to bring all 32 of their units out of the city. Because if you're within the city's zone of control, its garrison does get to reinforce like an army, as we saw over at Kazidorkadas. But we'd be at least taking on the whole lot of them in a field battle, instead of in a place where they have built up, defenses and stuff.
Right.
Sieging a Karak is no easy feat. They have a massive defensive advantage. So let's attack Glum Ironforge out on the field first. See how that turns out. My guess is he's going to retreat. He doesn't. They think they got us. They're going to stand and fight. We don't even get this screen if they retreat. This army would have just backed up. So they think they got us. Ungrim Iron Fist has recruited fucking 16 units of slayers. Some hammerers, which he shouldn't have. He has hammerers in his starting army, but I don't think he has the recruiting technology for more. So this feels sort of dubious to me. If we hit auto resolve, yeah, everything we own dies and everything they own survives. Cool, fun, good outcome. I think we can probably outperform that slightly. So one thing that's interesting about this is Glum Ironforge will be the only unit on the field at the beginning of the battle. It will take time for Ungrim's units to show up. And Ungrim's units show up actually slower than our own reinforcements do. It's kind of a weird... I don't know if we're going to be able to take advantage of that, but we got to give this a try.
Glum gets killed.
Yeah.
Before the reinforcements arrive, the battle continues. The reinforcements do.
We're allowed to bounce. If we eliminate every enemy on the field while reinforcements are still en route, we are allowed to call the battle and leave.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because again, the point of this is dragging
Right.
the dwarves out into a field battle. I gotta be honest with you though, I'm not feeling super happy about this.
I mean, you are pretty outnumbered. By like 1,200.
Well, it's not counting the
Wait.
number of units in my
Okay.
actual army.
Gotcha. Okay.
In terms of actual figures, we probably outnumber them. So there are fewer bodies in a dwarf unit than there are in most orc units, but
Okay,
our figures
gotcha.
are worth a lot less individually. Okay, so my reinforcements are coming in back here. Like, we have to figure out what is the appropriate place. What I'd love to do is get to a place where our catapults can be within range of this as they're entering the map. Like,
Okay.
catapults to here. That would be fun. That said, a dwarven rune lord is not like a nothing unit. We can't just treat this like he's not here. All right. Let's set the catapults as far forward as possible. They're not going to be of any use against a single dwarf anyway. There's no universe where they have the accuracy. I guess my other concern about that is if I'm setting myself up close enough to the Carrot Cadron reinforcements to fire on them, will my reinforcements be able to get to us with a 30-second head start before the Cadron reinforcements do? Because most of the army can fall back at some speed, but the catapults can't. The catapults move pretty fucking slowly. So we might just have to be... we might just have to do something like this. Just set up over here and be happy with this for the duration. Right, because they'll have to run. I mean, they'll have to run through this big open area. Just not let them have any tree cover to advance through. And then, what is the plan with the rest of these units? So we got our big uns here. We got our boys with shields. Are generally a little bit directly tougher units against ranged fire, at least. Although that's not really relevant here because there are essentially... So there's a very small number of shooting units in the garrison, but yeah, they have 3 units of crossbows in the garrison's army. Ungrim's army has no ranged units at all. Gosh, I wish we had like guns or something. The way you deal with slayers is you shoot them to pieces as they approach. We are not capable of that. It's just not how orcs get down in a general sense. So unfortunately, if we're setting up here, like I've put us in, there's not really a lot of features to take advantage of. We're just kind of in the open, and all we can do is let them charge and then counter them, right?
Yeah.
I like to set up my melee behind my artillery in a lot of cases, and just to make sure that, like, enemies have the absolute minimum ability to shoot at stuff before. But like in this case, it kind of doesn't matter because so few of these enemies have ranged weapons. I think I'm just gonna start the battle like this. That Rune Lord can fucking, I guess, do what he wants to do. We'll shoot some rocks at him. It's closer than I thought they'd be. Do I want to maybe even just, like, save ammo? Yeah, you know what? You guys aren't getting anything accomplished. Just hang out. Just wait. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to Spirit Leech this nerd.
Take that, you nerd.
I have to get within a certain distance of him. It's gonna be a run. I would take him one-on-one with Azhag, for sure. Azhag's actually got really poor melee defense. I'm realizing. He has some physical resistance thanks to his equipment. And of course, he's got the magic equipment and whatnot. Like, he's a much better character than this guy, but he does have poor melee defense. Get him, cast a spell. Yeah, that'll show him. Oh, now he wants to do it. Yeah, come over here. Come over here where I can shoot spiders at you. Speaking of shooting spiders at him. Spiders, get him! Okay. The friends have arrived. So, we have a couple units of archers now. And while I ordinarily am not huge on the capabilities of goblin archers, slayers, it's important to remember, are naked. So,
Okay.
We can probably do something. Here come the bad guys. Watching for them to enter the thing here. Chop him. Chop him good. Yeah, look at that. Alright, you chopped him. We showed him who's boss. Let's let the spider archers finish the job now that they've gotten all in place. Yep, he's realizing that this is perhaps not going well. He's turning around. Unfortunately for him, he cannot outrun the spider archers. They are spiders. Alright, how are we doing on catapult range? Alright. Enemies are up. Fire at will. Here's hoping.
Do you think the spiders fire the arrows with their arms or with their little mouth things?
Sweetie.
Their pedipalps.
Sweetie. There are goblins riding on the spiders, so the goblins have the bows. You can't trust a lava spider to fire a wooden bow. He's just gonna turn it into ashes. All right. Again, they have so few ranged units, and the ranged units are so far in the back of their formation that, as funny as this is, and it is kind of funny, I think maybe what we should do here is run up a unit of biggins to just like stomp this dude.
Okay.
And redirect the spider archers. We'll call these guys Control Group 3. Run up the spider archers and just harass the slayers. Now, it's important to note that the slayers do have some defense against ranged units because their axes are large enough that they sort of function as shields.
Okay.
This trait is called whirling axes. So somewhere in here, it's marked as like a. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Shielded 30% small arms fire. So they like advance behind their axes while spinning them, and that is theoretically supposed to help. And I'll leave the normal goblin archers on shooting at this guy shooting on this guy duty because they are not gonna get close enough to the enemies fast enough for it to matter. All right, so most cavalry archer units can fire while moving.
Mm-hmm.
Retarget the catapults to sort of the middle of the enemies. You can see there sort of anything that has this like circular range indication is a fire while moving unit that can fire in all directions. Stationary archers generally have the cone. And you can see we're dealing essentially no damage here. All right, kids. Time to march. So their units have a pretty fair speed difference too. Slayers are a lot faster than the other units. But I don't know how much we're in position to take advantage of that. Because I obviously don't want to like fold my units around theirs, then have dwarves just crashing through our back.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to set us up here. Well, I guess we can do this the other way around. What am I doing? Biggins on this side, boys on this side. We'll try to get a surround. Beating dwarves by removing all of their morale is a non-trivial task. Oh, you should be in control group 3. We have a Wolf Rider cavalry unit, and then we have Wolf Rider chariots, and Wolf Rider chariots have bows, and I forgot that they have bows. So I'm feeling a little silly right now. We could have had a 4th unit up here shooting. The Wolf Rider cavalry we'll have to be extremely careful with because although they're shielded and very fast, they're for like picking off archers and stuff, and dwarf archers are better fighters than any goblin unit, unfortunately. All right. One other thing that we can do is we have access to an explosion spell here, the Brain Bursta, that we're going to try out. First time bursting some brains, so let's run our wizard up with the biggins. Try to stay behind the biggins. It's going to be Azhag's time as well. Azhag is going to have to get in. Azhag waiting in with his Helm of Discord is going to make a big difference. And then this unit of biggins just keeps their Rune Lord tied up forever and hopefully eventually defeats him, but mostly it's just going to keep him away from everything important. And then we have the Big Spider. The Big Spider is going to do horrific things to the normal dwarves, but we have to be very fucking careful about letting Slayers get a hold of it, especially Ungrim. Ungrim is definitely a monster slayer. All right, kids. Step. Here comes the Brain Burst. Try it like right here. I did something.
Yeah, pretty okay. I'm going to
re-target the catapults here. Shoot the stuff that's coming in so you're not firing into friendly units. I really have no idea how to apply this wolf cavalry. It's interesting how far back Ungrim is. He has 32 move speed. He has the same move speed as like these dwarf warrior units. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's up with him. But our unit of fast-moving range can, at the very least, fire into the backsides of the Slayer units now that they're getting engaged. And their shield type effects only work on projectiles that are coming in from the front arc. So it's easy enough when they can just run at us. Once we can run around to the side of them, things get a little uglier. And speaking of running around to the side of them, the trolls and the pump wagons are definitely approach from the rear type units. Here's a question. Do I want to just fucking charge the big mass of normal dwarves with the spider by itself?
Yes.
Is that over applying the spider? If we lose the spider, we're not getting another one. I think it's important to note. Okay, too many of my units have gotten hung up on this asshole. You guys gotta come through. Azhag is getting slayered over here by himself. Actually, Azhag might need a little rescue. The spider can like charge slayers. We can do some like shock moves. I just need to be careful about
careful to pull her back when
especially when they start turning around, it becomes dangerous. I don't know what you guys are doing back here. And then we also have a couple units of normal on-foot goblin archers who I don't really know how to apply well here. I guess, like, yeah, try to shoot into these units that are paying attention to, that are paying too much attention to Azhag. Okay, I think we're as ordered as we're getting here. You should not be in direct combat. We could brain burst some more. He also has a magic missile that is more intended to like shoot a single big enemy. We don't really have, I think, a good call for that spell here. Yeah, like I said before, dwarves are anti-magic, so here comes the big wog. Yeah, you can see that charge did some work. And now before they can mire you in nonsense, get over here. Alright, some of these units are managing to wiggle free a little bit. Azhag has begun winning his battle because of the combination of the Wog and the fact that he's now only fighting one unit of Slayers instead of two. The Rune Lord is definitely going down. We're going to see a lot of damage accumulating on these Slayers. But remember that we still have like a second wave of troops about to hit us, and also Slayers die. It's kind of the thing that they do.
Yeah.
The real enemy units are the bigger problems are just about to hit. Okay, I see what I think what they're doing. Let's focus our ranged units on their ranged units for the moment. I do think I want to run the spider into Troubletown over here and just do one of these lovely arachne eruption things. And then I might actually turn the spider around and have at their ranged. Speaking of things to do to their ranged, as this spell comes off cooldown. Alright, they start to pay attention to the spider. The fools. Here come the fireballs. Holy shit! That's fairly devastating. Side charge from the trolls is doing some okay work. We definitely don't want to let the snot wagons stay in for very long. They are charge in and then retreat units. The trolls can charge in and stay in. And we've done enough damage here that we're about ready to wog again, actually. Azhag's getting a little low. We should watch that. Azhag's getting a little really low. We should withdraw him if we can, actually. They got their hammerers on him. Shit. That's problematic. Alright, we're going to try to extract Azhag through a friendly charge here. Yeah, I'm over here microing the spider, and it's not letting me... I'm not paying optimal attention to this side of the battle. Where do we have a unit of boys that's just not engaged? You guys are actually not in contact. Could you please get some blood? And then you are sort of just behind the front lines. So I want him to be where the fighting is kind of heavy because all characters have that leadership aura. And it's hard to see because of the snow. But you see this like blue line here?
Yeah.
He's providing +5 leadership to every one of my units that's within the big blue circle. So he is doing some meaningful work just by being around. And he does not have the combat stats to really be a combat unit. He can charge okay. But we do need to make sure that we're getting the most out of his magic too. So I'm kind of looking like... I think if we moved him over to here and then dumped a magic missile just kind of down the line like that, I think we could probably do some good work. Got my pump wagons trying to charge the melee, or trying to charge the ranged. And you guys maybe need to... Where do we spider? Maybe just reapply the spider over here. It's going to be a minute before we can do the explosions again. Big wog charge. Alright, Azhag is in retreat. You know, if he makes it out, that would be lovely. Make my life a lot easier. The other unit of pump wagons is like stuck somewhere. Yeah, they got trapped. They're like in the enemies. All right, do your best to back out. Because I can't really leave these pump wagons in contact with the enemy archers either, because they will just lose a fight against dwarf archers because
Yeah.
goblin units are fucking horrible. You know, they have a job. They're doing a thing. And I really want to start shooting Ungrim in the back now that he's in combat with my archers, so... We have a couple units of Biggins that have, like, more or less killed the enemies that they were in direct contact with. And so I want to try to get them back and see if we can, like, wrap them around the side. We're going to try to shoot a magic missile. Well, actually, Brain Burst is off cooldown. Let's Brain Burst first. Have to be a little careful. These explosion spells will do friendly fire damage, and my units are a lot more vulnerable to magic damage than the dwarves are. So I'm trying to place this in a spot where I think it's going to hit the fewest goblins. Okay, not bad overall. Our lord is wounded because I was not careful enough with Ungrim. It's fine, it's fine. Things aren't bad, but could be worse. All right, we're getting the wraparound here. The trolls are doing troll stuff. The spider's starting to take some pretty serious damage. This Rune Lord is about dead. I think when the Rune Lord dies, it will apply the My Lord was wounded penalty to all of the enemies on the table because he's the enemy lord for the battle, even though he's not the lord of these armies. So that will certainly be helpful. These guys need to be... There's a... you can specify... Okay, yeah, they're in skirmish mode already. Units will automatically attempt to keep a safe distance from enemies. It seems like Ungrim is trying to charge the spiders. But they should run away from him automatically. They should, but they're clearly not going to. So why don't you guys fucking back up manually? And you guys go forth. Boy, I hate this. I hate this, like, let's slow down and come to a complete stop and take stock of our place in life before turning around and attacking anything that they're doing here. There we go. Today, friends, charge.
We do it. Jabbo's rule.
Oh, these are the... These things have the same icon as the snot wagons. Which, yeah, look at that. It's okay. It's very slightly different. There's kind of a bow on that. Well, okay. So the snarling pump wagons decided to instead run away because they're very good at running away. Amabel, this battle's not going the way I wanted it to go. That said, their front line's not doing so great.
Yeah, I think this is winnable.
I think it's going badly. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
The spiders got to perform an awful lot of good work here, and the spider needs the defenses of somebody chomping these archers in order to do that. Ungrim is now in the biggins. I'm wondering if we can just like drag away enough units that we can just have some biggins just chase down the archers, because the archers will not win that fight. You guys are pretty scattered. Yeah, let me see if I can peel off a unit of biggins to distract them, because the spider could chase ranged units as well, and their ranged units can't fire while moving. But I think the spider has other things it needs to be doing right now. In fact, I'm going to hit Arachne Eruption right now. Try for a little bit of this. We'll try doing a little bit more brain exploding. For some reason, they have a unit of quarrelers that just ran right into melee. I guess they thought they'd be better suited for that. Let's apply this in a spot where it's hopefully going to lead to some exploded brains. And now that we've weakened that side, let's do this. Once again, the ranged units that are in skirmish mode don't actually seem to be paying attention to their skirmish mode orders. They are not running. Alright, the ranged units are mostly not attacking the spiders anymore. How are my catapults doing? Catapults are doing okay. We could turn the catapults around and have them focus here. But, I mean, at that range, they might be able to actually hit a single unit. I'm always worried with the catapults that if you aim them at one thing, they're going to miss that thing over and over again. But I wonder. All right, you guys chase that down. Since you guys are no longer fighting that Rune Lord, you can kind of wrap around here. To give them a little bit wider path, otherwise they're just going to run into the melee. All right, you guys are... Yeah, we're going to have to kill Ungrim at some point, but it's maybe not right this second. All right, the Snotling Pump Wagon charge actually kind of worked. And now I'm going to have them turn around and just ram these guys in the back.
That's pretty good.
You know, even where you're not dealing damage, if you're knocking them over, they're not shooting anymore. This is one of the more annoying things about these like low leadership forces is the having to go into the backlines and grab units that gave up and are now willing to fight again and give them new orders. Okay, is that everybody who backed off has orders now? You, Snotling Pump Wagon. Yeah, go charge those guys in the back. It looks like the Archer Corps is kind of breaking down. And this is good news because units retreat. One of the big morale effects. Can we get a list of... Yeah, one of the big morale effects is friends nearby routing.
Makes sense.
So when you can sometimes see a nice like sort of cascade of a couple units break on one side and then they break the units next to them and they break the units next to them. And I think we're getting a little bit of that here.
I mean that's good modeling.
You are way more concerned with whether this stuff represents something like real-ish than I am. I'm not sure what's up with these spider archers. So I've given them orders a number of times, and they just don't seem to want to move. And they're in a place where they're in range of enemies. Like they're firing. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it is weird. All right, so this spider is in a place where there are slayers, and I am a little concerned about that. But most of the slayer units around it are pretty weakened. And so I'm hoping that it will just kill them all. We can yet get a third Wog off. That could absolutely occur. Let's use an explosion here to try to clean up some of these guys as well. Again, I hate fighting on snow because almost all of the like range and direction indicators are sort of a ghostly and see-through. And so they pick up way better on every other kind of battlefield. Okay, yeah, there's some surrendering going on. Alright, you guys, charge. You guys gotta come around the back over here. So the wagon charge into the Slayers is dubious, I guess I would say. It didn't really help as much as I was hoping it would, and the spider is definitely taking some Slayer axes. But if we got the Slayers to give up, we're very close to them having no operational units right now. Like, most of their units are surrendering. Not you and not you. You guys stay in and fuck up that Lord. But let's push up and make sure that these Slayers get finished off. Yeah, this is like, it's the big annoying problem with the enemy having a lot of units that can't surrender. You know?
Yeah.
The spider is going to have to give the hammerers an explosion. So these 2 units of dwarven hammerers over here, these are the best thing in this army. The single most impressive unit. They're heavily armored, they're heavily armed, very difficult to damage. But nobody likes to be flank charged by a monster, and also here's fireballs. And look at this one Slayer, fucking, he's a brave fellow. Spider, turn around and consume him. There we go.
Yeah.
Holy shit, did it ever. Alright, units that are in the back that have continued fleeing. There's a fucking Slayer in my catapults. Please make that not be the truth anymore. And the catapults have kind of done their job. I don't know how much they're actually helping at this point. They might be providing negative value because they're probably just shooting into the rest of our units. But we should not abandon them. So I put a couple units on chase duty on the archers specifically so that the archers don't turn around and come back for us. I am afraid we might need to retreat this spider to avoid losing it.
Yeah.
I think we can probably, I think we're going to win the battle now.
Yeah, the bar is mostly green now. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like our force is kind of scattered and weird, but I think we're going to win the battle at this point. The spider showed up and it did a huge amount of damage to the hammerers, and that's what we needed, and now I think it needs to just kind of like bounce. So let's see if we can't micro it out of here in one piece. Now, it is worth noting, the spider has an area around it where the goblins in the platform on its back are shooting arrows. Some of these guys have bows. And you can see our ammunition is basically full. So it would be risky to keep it near combat if the enemy had more ranged units. But as it is, we can sort of like skirt it around the combat areas and get some small amount of ranged fire out of it. Okay, the Slayer that was in the catapults is down. You guys need to get clear of the catapults because they can't fire while they're being swarmed by bodies. We have regained our WOG, and so we shall use it. They're bringing the runesmith back, but this unit of Longbeards is just about dead. This pump wagon, there's 3 pump wagons here. I guess charge those guys and try to break them down. And then the unit of the big archer units are... They're almost out of gas. We're running pretty low on projectiles. Most of these units are not permanently broken, so I do feel like it's worth it to send some... These are like low impact units anyway. It's worth it to keep somebody chasing them so they don't unbreak. I don't know. It's closer than I would like it to be. I'll tell you that. Oh, hey, look, they're finally moving. Okay, there's a break. We're seeing some wavering from the hammerers. That's great news. Yep, hammerers are breaking. Okay, cool. So, new plan. Everybody who's got a ranged weapon, shooting at Ungrim. Everybody who has a melee weapon, get away from Ungrim. We are going to shoot him to death. We are going to cycle charge snotling wagons at him, just knock his ass down over and over again. And we're going to not let him deal any more damage. You guys, over here. Because at this point, Ungrim is the only thing they have left fighting, and I believe he is, he's a true slayer. And he will not surrender. So we're going to have to kill him. And the best way to do that is ranged attacks while he's not able to defend himself. Knock his ass down. Oh my god, he's very sturdy. Dwarves have an extremely low center of gravity. No, don't fight him. For the love of God, don't engage in melee combat. You crazy? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Move, find, crash. Snotties flee.
Okay, well, he seems to be stuck on a snot wagon for a moment here, so that's good. Boy, he's not taking very much damage, is he?
No.
Alright, hold on. Y'all go over this way. Just gonna kind of fan people out a little bit, so this is easier to control. The goblin rock lobbers. You know what, you guys? You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Just hang out. Is he losing any health at all? Yeah. Every time somebody shoots him with an arrow, he takes 1 damage. Boom, look at that. It's like 40 arrows at once. Yeah, he clearly wants revenge on these boys here. These big uns. But I don't want him to have it, so.
Yeah.
He's a little bit faster than they are. We're actually going to run out of ammo. We're going to have to fight him. All right. Let's make sure we keep the shaman in leadership range.
Well, he's out of magic, though. He can't mind explode them.
No, we have magic. I just can't. There's nothing I can do that won't do more damage to the biggins than it's doing to him. You can see down here our Winds of Magic reserve is actually quite full.
Okay.
But all I have is magic missile and a big explosion, you know? This is killing him faster. It's not like fast, but... Where's the next healthiest unit of biggins? Oh, the trolls... Well, no, trolls are large. He's anti-large.
Chopper's ready.
Just trying to line up the people who are going to have to swap in as he lowers the health of all of our units. This is gonna be a minute. Ungrim's tough. He's a very strong legendary lord. Alright, you guys break. Okay, apparently we need to insert the other units first. There we go. Get him. He's a tough dude.
Yeah.
Look at him just like look at how many orcs have their heads cut off. Every once in a while he does a little thing, and everybody flies backwards, and a bunch of body parts just don't come back. You guys get out of there. Fresh bodies in. He's gonna be dead pretty soon. There's 400 health left. Jesus. So, Amabel, how many historical battles have ended with one of the commanders on the battlefield decapitating somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 enemy units one by one before finally being brought down by 7,000 to 10,000 arrows?
So that's not really a thing that happens. Now, in some
Really? I can't
sources-
believe that.
In some sources, something like that happens. Like
Sure,
there is
sure.
The,
I'm
the account
familiar.
of the Battle of Clontarf.
Okay, that I'm not familiar with.
On the Battle of Clontarf, I believe the son of Brian Boru slain 100 men with his left arm and 100 men with his right. He had a sword in each, and each of them fell by a single blow, even if they had mail on, and then he died. And it's like,
Okay.
that probably didn't happen. I'm
But,
gonna
you
say
know,
that
it's hard-
probably didn't happen.
But it's hard to say. This is a real computer simulation. So these events are essentially true. And we just saw that. What I was going to say is I'm familiar with, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Okay, yeah, I think you get some of that in some European sources, but I don't think it ever goes as crazy as Romance of the Three Kingdoms does.
And to be fair, I'm loosely familiar, secondarily familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, mostly to my chagrin through the Dynasty Warriors games, which exaggerated further. But I have definitely killed over 1,000 men as a number of the commanders in the Dynasty Warriors games. Okay, so the good news is we killed basically everybody. Of the 1,400 men that showed up in Grim Iron Fist's army, 1,300 of them died on the battlefield. That's pretty ahistorical, right? Like, in generally speaking, like what's a casualty value for a losing army?
I mean, that's going to vary quite wildly.
Well,
Sometimes
sure, of course.
Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes it is those kind of losses.
Nobody except Azhag was actually eliminated. But we certainly had some of the units of Biggins come close. But you can see we're starting to get some pretty solid unit ranks now from all the kills, so that's good. Ungrim was credited with only 160 kills. That's not even 100 with each arm. So really, he needs to step it up.
I mean, he has smaller arms, probably.
That's fair. That's fair. We can only get 100 total ransom for all of these dwarves. Really? That's fine. I'm going to take the replenishment, I think, because we are in poor shape. Okay. Azhag was wounded. Masha gained a war boar. So our wizard has a mount now. We got to put somebody in control of this army. And Grognok Foespike was kicked out of control of the army too recently. It takes 5 turns cycle, so
right.
We got to pick another intermediary warlord.
Here's Stitch Up Spider Killer. What a moniker.
Stitch
What
Up
a good
Spider
name.
Killer is certainly a strong option. Tricky Face Smasher. It's it's like the song, the famous and popular song. It's tricky to smash a face.
I don't know this. I don't know that
To
song.
smash unless it's held in place. Tricky. You know what? Let's take Stitch Up Spider Killer. Because you
Is
seem
this
very
reference
delighted.
humor?
And also, it is reference humor. I apologize. And also, Night Goblin war bosses by default have poisoned weapons. This one has this trait that actually makes him considerably more useful in melee. I say considerably. It moves his
Looking at you.
armor from 15 to 40, which is still really bad. I don't know. He's a little more capable of melee combat. Masha gained 3 levels from that fight, so we're definitely going to level Masha up here. Let's get the power of the Wog. Let's get the upgrade to Brain Bursta, so now we can overcast it. Brain Bursta upgraded, has a greater armor-piercing explosion damage, is considerably more powerful against dwarves in particular. But like most overcast spells, it has a 50% miscast chance. Miscast is a universal mechanic that everybody has to deal with. Basically, whenever you overcast something, it's going to have a 50% miscast chance. And miscasting does not mean that something goes awry with the spell or that it doesn't go off. You always get your spell. But if you miscast, you overdo it a little bit on the channeling of the mana, and the caster takes significant damage. And miscasting absolutely can be fatal if your health is low. I have had more than one caster literally explode on the battlefield from overdoing it a touch. So it is a thing to be worried about. And then I'm going to pick up also Fists of Gork. So Fists of Gork is just a buff spell, and it's a little bit more effective when fighting armies that are immune, highly resistant to magical damage. What?
I said okay.
Oh, I thought I heard laughter.
Nope.
Okay. I thought I heard mockery.
Never. I liked watching that battle, sweetie. I thought you did a good job with a tough situation.
Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but a fair amount of the garrison did escape the battlefield on the post-battle report. We're taking the settlement, but we're going to have to do it manually if we don't want to lose two fairly heavily upgraded units of Biggins, which is very annoying. So,
not for me. For me, it's good.
So let me talk to you a little bit about this.
Yeah.
When you're attacking a walled settlement, in order to be able to fight the battle, you have to have something on your side that can deal siege damage. If your army has no such units, you have time to you can hang out outside the walls and construct siege equipment, right? And the speed with which you can do so depends on like the manpower of your army, total labor force. Orcs is strong and good at building. We're gonna get some siege stuff up real quick. Except we don't want to give the dwarves any time to recover. We want to attack immediately. So if you want to be able to attack immediately, you got to look for things that have the siege attacker trait. Luckily, we have catapults. We also have Lava Arachnarok Spider. All big monster units have the siege attacker trait because they can just force a door, right? The city gates are no match for the Lava Arachnarok Spider. They're going to have a significant defensive benefit here, of course, because they're in the Carrack, but we have bodies and they have this. It's worth noting that a significant number of their crossbows did escape, which I'm not super jazzed about. And ordinarily, I might spend some time sieging. I guess I should have shown you. There is a value on each settlement for how long this settlement can last under siege without supplies coming in.
Right.
It's like how many turns you get before the units inside start to take attrition damage. Starvation sets in. And then how many turns it will take for the units to actually starve out, which will be, different settlement by settlement and can, of course, be affected by buildings constructed in the settlement. This is going to be a kind of a weird siege scenario. So keep in mind, our reinforcements are still a reinforcement army. It will still take time for them to show up. We are not guaranteed to be able to apply Spider to gates. All of their stuff should start inside the city, I believe. So you can see here there are some icons picked out. There are a number of sort of control points within the city that provide various bonuses. They'll be allowed to construct some like defensive anti-siege things using their city supplies, and we will have the opportunity to disrupt those things and contest control of the gates and towers by taking over these control points. You can see like this supply location controls these spots and like the towers that might be built up on the city fortifications. Again, this is a Carrack, so it is a big dwarf fortress. It's got dwarf statues everywhere. Pretty well defended places they tend to be. Really, we're full 2 minutes for the reinforcements. That sucks a huge amount. So one thing that's going to be problematic here is that our catapults are pretty damaged.
Yeah.
You can see their wall has a lot of natural tower positions along it. We're going to be hard-pressed to find a spot that's safe to park the catapults in. This is pretty bad. In my opinion, this is bad. And I'm an expert. Gosh, maybe we should have built some rams. So part of me is very worried about losing our catapults here.
Yeah.
We don't have the siege knowledge to rebuild the lost catapult. If we can find a spot where there's gaps between the towers, long enough gaps between the towers, we might be able to find a spot where, unfortunately, it's very difficult to tell before the towers are manned. We might be able to find a spot where we can move things close enough to the wall where they become hard to shoot at. And we're going to want to spread their defenses out some. Attacking from multiple directions is probably wise. But in any location, you know, they have a localized advantage until we manage to get through the walls. Yeah, geez. Man, our units are going to freak the fuck out and panic and run so fast. It's also worth noting, trolls are siege attackers. I forgot about that. Trolls can do some fair damage to a gate. Yeah, okay. We'll have the trolls over here try to just lead a push on the gate right away. Have my pump wagons like over here. Just see if we can draw some dwarves away to man the towers over there. And then the pump wagons are fast enough that they can just run out of the firing arc.
Got it.
All right. Attacker has to set up first. So we force them into picking locations. They won't be actually in control of the towers for a second at the beginning of the battle. Like it takes a moment. You have to be within the zone of control around the tower. It looks like they actually haven't taken up tower control positions over here, which is interesting. Let me select everybody here who isn't the catapults and maybe give the catapults some breathing room. They've kind of actually just let us fire. I'm going to just, I think, just tell the catapult to kind of have at it right here. Just drop shots directly on top of the wall, and we'll see how that goes. And then the trolls are running directly at the gate. The trolls are running to here, and then directly at the gate. And the rest of us also need to, I think, follow approximately that path. So yeah, you can see the firing arcs of the towers once they're occupied. This is one of my least favorite things is the fact that you can't see the firing arc of an unoccupied tower. This really feels like a huge oversight. So okay, as we push that, I just want to make sure that we're over here and we're good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you going forward? Okay, so the catapults are not following orders and they're taking damage because of it. That's fun. Yeah, they ran forward into the enemy firing range instead of doing what I told them to do. Killer. Absolutely brilliant strategy there. Okay, there they go. Once they're actually attacking the gates, they should be pretty safe from the quarrelers, because all this shit dwarves love to build around their gates actually acts as really good cover. Alright, how about it, gents? That's going to be a minute. My catapult make it to safety yet?
Aim for the skies!
Fucking just shoot at the wall directly. Punch a hole in their big stupid wall. There are dwarves standing on that wall, so if it breaks, that'll do something. Are we doing it? There we go. I'll get there eventually. Reinforcements? No, almost. So I wanted to keep everybody away from where the reinforcements were going to come in so that there wouldn't be dwarves on this portion of the wall. Trying to make it as safe as possible for the lava spider to just charge that gate immediately. Everybody in the pool. And spider to the gate. Another thing we can be doing here, although again, dwarves are somewhat magic resistant, so the value of this is not as high as it might be. We can, of course, be casting spells. There you go, that's more damage. That spell's more real when it's overcast. We did hit a miscast. I don't know if you see how low Masha's health is now.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
Masha's going to back the fuck up. Masha's leaving the battle, actually, I think. Well, I shouldn't leave the battle. Masha should back up to... Masha's only purpose in this battle at this point is providing leadership aura. Are we still firing? Yeah, we are still suffering fire from them. Okay, you know what, Masha? If you get behind this little wall bit here, you'll be okay. All right, gate's about halfway down on this side. Yeah, they're trying to run a unit over to get control of the towers. So we probably want to actually be on this side a little bit more. I wonder if the Arachnarok explosion thing will do damage to the gate. Also, this wall is about a third of the way down.
Okay.
Catapult's doing it. We're getting there. Right up, friends. Okay, they've changed their mind on the tower thing. They're just running to the other entrance now, which is... Wow, yeah, the Arachnarok spider's not fucking around. Look at that. All right, that gate's going to be open presently. Move up, friends. Wall's coming down. They ran archers up on the others. They were trying to pick at us from the back there. So I think we're actually going to break through pretty similar timings here. Not on purpose, but that's nice. Oh, actually, this gate opened. We're supposed to get a notification when that happens. Okay, so you can see they're trying to build a... There, see, we got that. That notification should be larger, probably. So they're trying to build a tower inside. They're rushing construction here. I'm going to have the spider and the spider's little friends try to rush and take control of this point here. One place where we have a massive advantage in an offensive siege like this is dwarves are really, really slow-moving units. And many orcs are kind of slow, but certainly not all of them. And we also have some cavalry. Well, the orcs, dwarves, do not believe in cavalry. I don't know that there's anything that will let a dwarf ride it. You know what? Goats. I bet mountain goats do. They probably have some kind of goat cavalry. That seems appropriate. Meanwhile, over here, we're just keeping a couple units of dwarves busy, having to watch this unimpressive force. All right, hurry, 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 kids. Trolls are going for a charge directly into the archers. Those dwarf warriors got in the middle of them, but it's not looking good for the dwarves on this one. Yeah, unfortunately, with this huge Carrick to cover, and only this number of dwarves to do it with, they're actually in a pretty bad spot. We gotta get some cover from that tower though, because of how low the health on this spider is. Oh, wait a second. Can somebody turn around? Who is the most actually chargy? You. Go fuck those quarrelers up. So when you get within the box of a control point here, as you're about to see, come on, buddy. It starts to change colors. If it's contested, you know, if they're enemy units, they'll stop it from changing color. It moves in the direction of whoever has the largest total number of bodies in the box, which is probably not like a big surprising way for that to work. It's the most obvious thing. Let's see if we can get some of our units over here to just run for control points. And if we take control of the point, then all of the things that are linked to that control point will immediately be unmade. So like it'll smash the tower instantly. Let's get this pump wagon in here, and I'm gonna actually run the pump wagon for that point. The pump wagons are gonna go in a different direction than everybody else, and either die or be a great distraction. Right, these dwarf warriors are like, I guess we do kind of have to go over here and help. Here's the thing about that. Fucking ill-advised. Alright. They have come around to our way of thinking. And so, we move forward. You can see they're trying to like hurriedly construct barricades and stuff. They're just like desperately trying to cope with the situation after the fact. Y'all, charge for the heart of the city. So there are 4 supply points that do the supply point stuff. There is a key building over here that provides, these buildings provide, in addition to their other effects, these buildings are providing like bonuses to the defenders. Like as long as they have their key point, like this sort of like statue plaza, they all have extra melee defense and leadership for what it's worth. Have they disengaged from this wall yet? They haven't. They are content to just sit here and watch us. All right. Those units aren't really like getting anything done. Don't you guys have orders? The answer is yes, they have orders. Get in here and defend this plaza. Your job is just to shoot dwarves. Okay. So I'm taking this a little slower than it absolutely, is absolutely necessary, but we're moving on it. So with every point they lose, obviously, the battle gets less and less likely to turn out in their favor. And there's this system here of victory tickets. You can see when we hold right now there's only one, on this map there's only one source of victory tickets. When we hold it, we will be gaining, 13, we'll be gaining a small number of victory tickets per tick. When this bar fills, It doesn't immediately end. What's wrong with my catapult? They have stopped manning the catapult. Damage sustained. What is your... Okay, you know what? You're fine. You just stay there. I don't know what's up with these guys. They're not being very productive. When the victory ticket bar fills for the attacker, it creates a massive, massive leadership drain.
Okay.
Units get sad, they get broken. We're seeing a lot of units that are just kind of dropping their orders, which is kind of annoying. Like, people who are just not doing the thing they were told to do. I don't know where that's coming from. But the enemy is building towers and stuff. We do need to actually take these points. Actually, go for this one. And then over there is the victory location, the big one. Obviously, if you can get all the way to the deepest part of the enemy map and take it over, you've won the battle. You've probably won the battle in the classical sense, in that all the enemies are dead, but also you win the battle in every other meaningful way. Okay, where is this tower's supply point? So we captured this one now.
Night Goblin War Boss! Running!
I mean, there's not much to do except pressure them up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got the victory point. We got the fancy one. Yeah, what is this tower connected to? There are 2 control points. You wouldn't think this would be... No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, there's like 1 dwarf unit left.
War Boss!
Sorry, there's a couple of dwarf units left. You guys go fuck up that runesmith. The rest of us will focus on captures. Get him, yeah. Look at this little goblin. Look at him go.
Yeah.
All right! All right!
All right. So we're capturing the last outer point here. They're going to have nothing left. I thought we would have started to accumulate. I guess you have to take the plaza point and then take this. This is not how I remember this working, but it's been a little while, you know. I thought the plaza point would be good enough. Okay, well, whatever. Let's grab this other thing, and then we will just mass, because at this point they have like a unit or 2 left on the walls, and that's kind of it. Oh, there's a unit of dwarf warriors over here.
The lads are ready!
They stopped up these reinforcements.
What you want?
Yeah, see, like, this is a great example. Why are you guys not still following your... I said kill. When I said kill, I meant it. You wouldn't think you'd have to tell an orc that.
Running!
I'm not going to have the giant spider lead the charge on this last one.
Yeah.
It's just because there's a tower there. And the giant spider is pretty badly damaged. That one unit of quarrelers is certain that they're keeping an important watch post.
Gonna kill him! We the war! Stab
I mean, this is taking forever, but it is over. Okay, we're in control
that
of
feels
the
like
final
the
point.
beach.
Yeah. Boy, that is filling up very, very fucking slowly. There we go. There's the tap out. I don't know why that took so long. Now, unfortunately, when they stuck those sneaky wizards, or they stuck those sneaky archers up on that back part of the wall, they did pick off the shaman.
Oh.
Also, the shaman got 0 kills. He did 500 damage, but none of it was enough to kill anything. So he might be actually dead. When characters die in battle,
Yeah.
they tend to be actually dead. Legendary lords, like I said, can't be killed. They always get wounded. Sometimes I feel like sometimes you see a character who is killed get wounded, especially if their side wins. But I won't be surprised if we just lose this completely useless wizard entirely. Because let's be honest, most of what he has done is do magic damage to things that are magic resistant and critically fail at every task he is handed.
I want him to continue to do that. It's really fun for me.
I'm fine with the loss of the orc wizard. What we need are some like goblin big bosses and stuff, and some proper agents. Goblin Solid Snake. Solid Snake Face Smasher, or whatever his name would be. Spider Kill is pretty good. Although it probably doesn't mean what it looks like it means because the goblins work with spiders so much.
Yeah.
He's like a killer with spiders. He hangs out with spiders and is a killer. But we managed to avoid losing our, more competent units, more important units. I don't know what was going on with the catapults there. They really just did not want to cooperate, and I did not have the time to micromanage them. Siege pieces can be a little finicky. Okay. Well, see, on this screen, it credits him with 6 kills. That's weird. And we lost a couple units from the Wog Army, but, not important units. Okay, so Masha was in fact killed in battle. Couldn't have happened to a dumber orc. We stole the Book of Ashur from them, so big wins a power bonus for our lord for what's his name when he comes back. We've secured this province. We have captured 2 provinces and thus fulfilled a mission goal. We have also fulfilled this mission. And most importantly, we have occupied the target of our Wog. To obtain your trophy, ensure that you still occupy the target when the call to Wog duration ends. Additional Wog units will stay to help your armies defend your prize until that time. So, at the end of the bar, we need to still be in control of this, but when we are, we will get a reward. And also, obviously, just like the extra units are tremendously helpful. So, we need to spend some time in a friendly territory just rebuilding. We are in fucking terrible shape. But let's look at our prize. As the way we converted their stuff to our stuff has given us a level 2 boar sty and a level 2 goblin toolbox. So actually, this is a catapult recruitment building. We can also recruit goblin bolt throwers here and snotling pump wagons, the ones with the flappers.
I don't know what's the flap is.
You know those ones?
No, I don't.
It's like a bellows. They have a goblin jumping up and down on a bellows to help it pump wagon more. Bolt throwers are ballistas.
Okay.
And they're obviously better against like large things. I think as far as fighting these dwarves go, we're talking about rock lobbers. We may want to recruit another rock lobber or 2. So, We have shattered the Dwarven army yet again. Defending this territory is not going to be entirely trivial. They have proper recruitment structures in Fallen King Mountain, which is a real shame. Hate to see this. And then they have 3 buildings in Grom Peak, so they're going to be able to put together another army. We have unfortunately not crushed their military capacity.
Great and
It's
powerful.
grim. It's grim, baby. What's it cost me to get a couple more rock lavas? How many catapults is too many catapults, you think?
12.
Oh wait, it looks like these
11,
have
11
these
right
have
number.
wings, maybe? What is the big? These have. Oh, okay. So these are immune to terrain penalties versus the normal. I guess the idea is that they can hop a little bit. Weird. So sorry. Are we going to 4 catapults? Is that the plan? What do you think? 4 catapult units?
Yeah.
All right. You don't think that diminishes our on the table strength too much?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's maybe only have 1 unit of pump wagons. We'll just merge these 2. And then I do think it's good to have more. Like, this is one of the places where we have a significant advantage against them, right? It is good to have more rocks. And then to make space for another one, do we want to merge some biggins? Do we have too many? Like, what is the correct number of units of boys to like provide us front line and you know catch the charge and stuff?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna fold up some biggins. So let's just merge these 2 units together. Catapults. Okay. We do have access to some proper cavalry now, too. Orc boar boys, which we could recruit next turn, are riding. They're like heavy cavalry riding these big mean boars. You can see melee attack 25, melee defense 24. Very, very bad stats. However, a 53-point charge bonus means for the first 10 seconds after they make hard contact, they're doing a terrifying amount of damage. And most of their damage is armor piercing, which is really good against dwarves. Also, they have some real armor, and they are bronze shielded. So I don't know. They might be good. Like, this is the kind of unit you can actually use to disrupt a dwarven ranged company. And the dwarves do have a proper ranged pulling building here in Fallen King Mountain. Like, they're going to be able to bring like Thunderers and Iron Drakes, like real gun units. So I think it does behoove us to maybe we get rid of the Snotling pump wagons entirely. I don't know. I don't think we would pull. So we only have 3 local recruitment slots. We could start doing some global recruitment too, but I don't think we're going to recruit more than 3 units of cavalry. Certainly not more than 3. Maybe not even that many. So we may as well just use this turn's local recruitment and next turn's local recruitment. So we don't need to like figure this out right now at all, is my point. Also worth noting, as we've taken over a lot more land, look at how much income we have. Hooray!
Yeah.
I'm well nasty.
I think I might want to recruit. I might want to go ahead and level up the main settlement structure here in Nashrak's Lair so that we can get this basic muster building up to the point where we can recruit biggins up here on the front lines instead of having to, ship them in from up north. That unfortunately is going to take a few turns, so it's a process we better get on right now. And then here in Karak Ungor, we have all of the money-making stuff. Growth is in a pretty fine place. I mean, like, what do we want to do? We have an open slot. We could build a magic building and get a new orc shaman. Or we could pursue another recruitment line. If we go for a goblin recruitment building now, at level 2 of that building, we could get access to the goblin big boss, who is a map agent that I trust a lot more.
Okay.
I think that's the direction I want to take this.
All right.
And then, we're still working on lots of buildings are still under construction. We're still finishing. Next turn, we're going to have access to black orcs, proper dwarf killing melee units. Yeah. Oh, all right. And a commandment for the region. If we put ourselves in brag mode, we can get more local recruitment capacity, but I don't think we need more local recruitment capacity. So I'm inclined to just be like, growth. Just grow fast.
Okay.
We wanna get this place developed as quickly as possible. How are the vampires feeling about us? Okay, trending toward 32 positive. Positive feeling.
Karstein, welcome thee.
Unfortunately, we're still pretty far off from being able to sign any other contracts with them. I always try to prioritize getting contracts signed for that like passive treaties with me reputation bonus. It's much easier to maintain friends if you have something solid to maintain the friendship on. But we are 16 points away from them being cool with mutual military access, so it's gonna be tough. But they hate these dwarves. So as long as we keep fighting them, that number's going to keep trending in our direction. Oh, okay. Let's end the turn. Let's end the turn 90 minutes into the episode. This is what it's like when you got to fight,
Yeah.
So, in the one sense, it behooves us to get moving as fast as possible. And we certainly can run, a full turn's run distance and then go into raiding camp mode and do a little recruitment. It would be nice to stay in the friendly settlement, the major settlement here, and get this like very high replenishment rate for a few more turns. But I think we got to put pressure on Fallen King Mountain. If we can break Fallen King Mountain, we will have taken essentially like the last place where they can build real troops.
Okay.
And that will hopefully lead to the end of the war shortly thereafter. Also, I got to tell you, I don't love the shape of our country right now. We have a lot of weird little inlets. We have this like C-shaped. Let me close these. Chen, single word shredding sanity wherever it is spoken. They say a large black bird was the first to utter it, and now all who hear it soon say nothing else, laughing hysterically as they bark into the ears of those around them. Okay, so Tzeentch, this is some chaos magic shit. We got some Tzeentch corruption. It's fine. We don't need to worry about that. Get more provinces for more, mission. If we look at this on the map, our actual settlements, it's a little hard to see because it colors the whole area, but like the walkable territory of our country is like this C shape right now, and we have openings on this side and this side and this side and this side, and like from a defense perspective, this is a goddamn nightmare. We are vulnerable to ingress from too many places, and it's too hard to get from one side to the other. And we had to be careful about our diplomatic situation here, because we cannot afford to pick up enemies. So probably we ought to stop the episode right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the credit scroll and say that's gonna be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Apologies for the slowness. But I'm trying to hold on to my important developed units here.
I mean, that's all the stuff I wanted to see, though. So I mean, I feel like
I know Amabel's happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be it for us for today. When you come back next time, we're going to have an episode where I'm going to try my absolute level best to have more than one turn go by.
Okay.
And we'll see you then.